Hi guys, and welcome back to another speed painting. So this is my first digital painting that I'm really happy with. It's just a hand painting, but it's also related to Friday's tutorial. We'll be going over more complicated ways to draw hands holding things, cups, and how they affect the narrative of whatever you might be creating. But yeah, this is kind of my process, and I figured it out during this hand drawing, and I was like super ecstatic because after this I went right away and I started working on this painting that I had actually been struggling with a lot. It's an original character that I'm working on for a story that I'm writing, and yeah, it's basically been building up on that. So the thing that I struggled with the most while I was drawing was how to go from a line drawing or a grayscale drawing to a fully colored, fully fleshed out drawing or painting in this case. So how I do that is I do the line drawing. I think it's basically what everyone does, but essentially I do the line drawing and then I fill in the grayscale, on top of that with another layer, or I put that layer beneath so you can still see the lines, and then on top of those two layers, that's where I start lightly putting in color. So first thing I do is like airbrush it, and then I can get an idea of the values and the hues and stuff, and then from there I move forward. But another thing that I did that really helps, and it's something that I found from a channel, Marco Bucci, which he's a pretty impressive digital artist. So I'll also recommend his channel and leave a link to it below. You should definitely check it out. He's got some great tutorials on digital art fundamentals if you're into digital art. But yeah, anyway, so what I did was I put a layer on top of all my layers, and I turned it into a overlay layer, and then I went and painted that white, and I think it's overlay, either overlay or color. But anyways, what that does is it turns everything beneath it into grayscale, so you can always go back and check your values and make sure that everything's right, because as the old saying goes, if you have your values right, you can use whatever color you want. So one thing that I also did to make sure that my values are always good is I don't mess around with the saturation for a specific color. So what I'll do is I'll just move the color picker reticule vertically. So I leave it on one spot and try to just move up and down. And depending on whether it needs more saturation or not, I might move closer or further away. And one thing that I found that's really great with color relationships is the less saturated your color is, the easier it is for you to create color harmonies. So for example, if you look at the color wheel and you think of like the center being gray, that's also something that is explained in one of Marco Bucci's amazing tutorials. Is the closer the colors are, or like the pure colors are to gray, the closer they are to each other respectively, and the closer their relationships are. So for example, you can't really use blue and orange like as pure colors opposite from each other in a painting if you wanted to have harmony. Of course they're complementary colors and it might look good, but in some ways it does create a very strong contrast like black on white. So what you do is you bring those closer to their gray versions and they harmonize much better. It's the same with like green and red, or red and orange, or whichever color. They just blend much better the further away from their saturated version or their pure color they get, so they all mix in and get, but you got to be careful not to be muddy with that as well. But yeah, anyway, so this is my hand drawing, and yeah, otherwise I think I'm done talking now, so I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the video. It's maybe like a minute left. Actually, you know what, never mind. I'm just going to use this last minute to talk about some stuff. So like I say, I have a video on Friday for how to draw hands that you can check out, and then I'm also going to be doing another tutorial on process and the importance of it. How do you get from a blank page to something finished without pulling your hair out, or at least how I do it. And then, yeah, lastly, I just want to say my tutorials, the thing I'm going for, the style that I'm going for, it's not really about like watching the video and then taking away some ideas. I want you to be able to draw along to it, or like put it aside and then you can look at what I'm doing and copy it. And I'm going to leave a lot of resources for that. So I have a Patreon where you can find all the reference pictures for the hands for the tutorial that I did, and you can find it there and you can use them too. Like the main thing is just practice, practice, practice. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time.